Hey there, YouTube. Classic Reviewer here again. Hope you guys had a happy new year. Welcome to 2019 officially. Bit late, but this is my first review video of this year, and it's gonna be quite different to some of my other ones. Like, same layout and all that, but different kind of movie genre is what I'm meaning. Ugh. So yeah, before I get into that, hope you guys are having a wonderful day, evening, wherever you guys are. Hope you guys enjoyed New Year's Eve and having a great 2019. So, alright, so today's video is going to be a review on a silent film. Yes, there was a time, kiddies, when there was no actual talking in a movie. And God, I love silent movies. And the funny thing is about this movie, it's not even actually silent era. It's modern day. It's called The Artist. It was actually made in. It was released in 2011. It was. When I first saw this, I thought it was actually proper 1920s, 30s, early 20th century silent movie, but turns out no, it's modern day. French silent film has Jean Dujardin Jean Dujardin here, who plays a silent film star actor called George Valentin, and his beautiful co-star Brent Spieger, I think that's pronounced. I'm not too sure. Here, who plays a up and coming actress slash dancer called Miss Peppy Miller. And yeah, here we go. I discovered this movie sometime before Christmas. I actually brought in the Christmas sales. It was really good. And yeah, I watched this movie and I enjoyed it so much. Like, it just felt like a proper silent movie. It did. So, anyways, enough waffling. So, starts off with Mr. George Valentin attending the premiere of one of his silent films. It starts off with his movie just finishing and him giving like a just like brief show on the stage, like running around with his dog and smiling at the crowd and that. He's there with his wife, who isn't Miss Peppy Miller. She'll come up in a bit. And yeah, his wife, unfortunately, is just one of those ladies that never seems to be happy, to be honest. So then, we get introduced to Miss Peppy Miller, who's outside the cinema or picture theater, as I think it used to be called. Anyways, yeah, we cut to her in a crowd of fans of George Valentin, who's giving like a press conference, or like not a press conference, like just talking to media people and just meeting fans outside, and she kind of accidentally stumbles into him. She does, like, she becomes horrified because he's kind of an idol for her, but he just smiles it away and, actually brings her in for a few photo poses, which is quite cute. Yeah, and then this inspires her to become an actress starring in one of his later pictures, and it's quite funny. How they re-meet a bit later on set of his new movie is because um she's been recruited, and basically there's screen between the two of them, so he can't see her face, he can only see her legs and that, and she's putting on some dance, and they kind of have a little dance off. Then the curtain gets revealed, and he's kind of put into like a shock that to see her again, because at the time when he was outside together with her, like one of the cameramen kind of asks, like kind of gets her to take a cheeky kiss shot of him there, so that when he gets home, like, his wife sees that the next day, and it gets him in a little bit of trouble. So he's a little horrified, but at the same time, he notices her talent, and she's allowed to stay on the movie set. They create the picture together, they do, and it's resounding success. And then the movie cuts to 2 years later. This movie is set between 1927 and 1932. There's just move that over a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it's set between 1927 and 1932. It's basically about, the cinema, like, movie industry going from silent films to talking films, like, where the actors and actresses actually spoke a lot. So it cuts to 2 years later, and George's manager basically tells him that, their studio isn't going to be making any more silent films, and George is, against the idea, because that's what he's been brought up to do, and he's just like, well, why would people need to hear my voice? Like, they've loved my movies in the past. Why would all of a sudden hearing my voice in a movie, like, why would it matter? But this kind of makes him go away and make his own movie, so it, like, makes him more empowered. Well, not empowered, but gives him the initiative to go off on his own and try and start his own silent era kind of movies, to kind of, not boycott or anything like that, but just to prove a point as to why, people love silent era movies, as to why, like, what's the point of putting voices into a movie, sort of thing. So he does that, and Miss Peppy Miller stays at his original studio and makes her first sound movie, like, with voices and that. And unfortunately for George Valentin, their two movies happen to coincide on the same day. And unfortunately for him, her movie got such a bigger turnout than his, because everyone was excited of hearing the person's voice for the first time, and it added a lot more depth and emotion to each character. He went... no, never mind. So basically this, makes him really sad, and then one night at whilst he was at dinner, Miss Peppy Miller and these two interviewers and that come to the same restaurant where he is, and knowing to them, they sit at a table next to him, next to George Valentin, and basically, they just ask her questions like, "Oh, what's it like to be the new up and coming star?" And she basically says that it's time for the old fossils to move aside, unknowing that her idol was sitting about 5 feet away from her with his butler, and he kind of just turns around and tells her that he's made way for her. But he's still not happy about it. Like, he can see the success that she's going through whilst he's getting his stuff. Well, his stuff is being sold off, and he's being left with nothing, sort of thing. And yeah, he just goes into a massive depression for years because at the end of the day, he sees himself as being irrelevant and overtaken, basically. And then the movie jumps to 1932, where he's in a bar drinking, trying to, ignore his sorrows. And at this point, he's hit a low as to where, basically there's almost no recovery from, sort of thing. And it's quite sad how he views himself at this point because, silent film making is all he knows, and without that, he just feels like, there's no point to him being around. Like, he tried to get into, like, sound movies. He did, but at the end of the day, he just saw it. He just saw it as, not insignificant, but inferior to the work that he'd done. And basically, it just drives him crazy because everyone's, crazy about these new sound films and all that, but I guess he just can't ever get past how far he's fallen, sort of thing. Like, he can't get past what he's lost, which is basically his entire career, because nobody wants to hire him because, everyone wants to move on with the times. Sorry. And, so gets into this dark depression, and at one point he actually he has a film collection at home with, like, cases of, like, film reels, are they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're called film reels. And, he sets them on fire, he does, inside his own house. He does because of just how angry and how betrayed he feels. Which causes, like, a massive house fire, and he starts, losing consciousness from the smoke, and his dog actually runs off and, gets help from this, police officer. Like, how he does it is by, I don't know, like, appealing to the public, like, to the police officer in a way. Like, the police officer originally has nothing to do with it, but a nearby lady tells him that, he should just go and see what's got so confused and what have you, like, he's supposed to help out. So, reluctantly, the police officer chases the dog back to George Valentin's place, and, discovers the fire and finds out that a few other people had discovered it. And, a cool Miss Peppy Miller, gets a, telegram about... No, not a telegram. She reads in the newspaper the next day about a fire being over at George Valentin's place, and she leaves the set of her movie, even as, her agent and that are basically getting things ready for her to start shooting in the picture. She rushes straight to the hospital, she does, to make sure that her idol is okay and to, look after him. And the next day after that, sorry guys about all that. The day after that, she basically approaches her studio manager and tells him point blank that the next picture she appears in has to feature George Valentin in it, or, she's no longer going to be working there. And because she's such a talented lady, actress and dancer, her manager's unwilling to get rid of her, even if it means, bringing in an old fossil such as George Valentin. And, so basically she does in a way that he doesn't have to actually do any speaking on set. I'm pretty sure, she just puts him in a few scenes. She puts him, like, in a dancing scene and, with her, so that he doesn't actually have to talk in the movie. And this is how the movie ends. Like, they go for the dance scene, and then the manager's telling them how well they did, and the last 30 seconds of the last minute or so is them doing it in sound, because, like, the camera that we've been seeing the movie in all the way through the movie has basically been turned off, so like normal life you can hear the people talking, and it's just really adorable scene and a great way of ending it. Basically, like, the manager just tells them to, that they did a really good job, but, could they do it again with a bit more oomph, like, a lot bit more, I don't know, like, just to make it look better, basically. And so, everyone gets set up and the camera kind of trails away, and you're more of listening to what they're saying, really, than at this point, because the camera's just moving away from them out of focus on, like, kind of an angle sweep, like that. And so that's my review of The Artist. I give it 10 out of 10. If you love silent films, you will love this movie, or just classic Hollywood in general. And if you've never seen a silent film in your life, definitely recommend you get into watching this, and just looking at it, it's just hope that comes up properly. Yeah, it looks like it is. But it's just a really amazing movie. Highly recommend that to you guys. And hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on this movie, or if your thoughts on silent films in general. If you enjoyed this, if you loved this video, or any of my other previous videos, feel free to subscribe. It helps the community out a lot, and just hope you guys have an amazing day and amazing new year. Hope 2019 goes as well or even better than 2018 did. So that's all I've got time for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.